The Bassmaster Classic is only a couple of days away, so I met up with a couple of pro fishermen who have competed in the event to learn everything I can.
Really, the change comes when you make your first little bit of money in a tournament. I was a competitive kid growing up, and I was 13 years old. My grandpa and I went out and fished a tournament, won $641. Remember to this day. And he gave me like $150, and I thought I was working at a pumpkin patch at the time, so I thought making $150 fishing was a lot better than working at the pumpkin patch, and that's how I got started, man. I was addicted after that, and here we are today.
What is it about the sport that draws you in?
Really, I love to fish. Number one, just love being outdoors, and then when you mix that with competition. And you're put on a time clock, 8-hour days, and you got to beat these other guys that are the best fishermen in the world. When you do that on those days and you win a tournament, it's so hard to do, but when you do that, there literally is, not a better feeling in the world other than having a baby or getting married, of course those are better, but man, it's just incredible when it happens.
What is your favorite aspect of being out on the water and doing this?
Going fishing every day. I mean, this is my office. You look out here, it's a lake, it's beautiful, and you do have some rough days out there, but like they say, a bad day of fishing is better than a good day at work.
So you've been doing it for 20 years, and do you still do it just leisurely? Like if you have a day off, do you just go fishing?
I do, actually, but not for bass. I'm a saltwater guy, and so I love to saltwater fish, and so I spend a lot of time out saltwater fishing when I'm not actually competing in tournaments, because professional bass fishing is my job, saltwater fishing is my hobby.
That makes perfect sense. Now, what is it about Hartwell that you like so much, and why do you think the Bassmaster chooses it to be on their circuit of lakes?
Hartwell's one of the best lakes in the country. You've got big spotted bass, you've got big largemouth bass. It's a very big lake. It actually dips into 2 different states, and when you can do that, you got a lot of area to fish, and so guys don't get on top of each other, and when guys can not fish an area that somebody else has fished, and the opportunity of catching big fish. And there's so many fish in this lake, and so that's what makes it such a great lake.
Now, have you fished here Lake Hartwell in the Classic before?
I did last time. I'm bummed I'm not in it this time because I finished 9th, and I really had a great opportunity to finish 2nd or 3rd. So I love this lake. It's actually one of my favorite lakes in the United States. I grew up in Northern California. Reminds me a lot of some of the stuff we fished out there growing up, and it's just it's a really special place, man, and it's so big. There's so many miles of shoreline here. It fishes huge. You won't see another angler if you don't want to. You can really get away from everyone, so it's a great place to have the Bassmaster Classic.
And with that, we took to the water.
.521L. It's the new 50th anniversary boat that they have out. I've teamed it up with Lowrance Electronics graphs. I have 2 carbon 12s up front, and then I'm running a carbon 16 on my console. Teamed it up with the Yamaha SHO on the back, Boss Machine jack plate, Machine Shop jack plate, 10-inch hydraulic jack plate, 2 power poles. I've got the LED lights from TH Marine in here, Hydrowave, and the Minn Kota Ultrex, which is what pretty much all the pros are pretty much running. I mean, it's one of the best trolling motors out there on the market. Not really much different than, what the average consumer can go out and buy. I mean, it's just how much stuff do you really want to put on your boat? As a professional angler, these are some of the tools that I need, the hot foot to the dual trim, and having a new boat every single year as a professional. The 10-inch jack plate Bassmaster Classic helps me to fish shallow water. The Yamaha SHO is the same Yamaha that any average consumer can purchase, but it has the fuel economy, it has the reliability, which are the things that are very important to us. And my lab electronics is my computer. I mean, just like you going to work every day, you want the biggest, best computer that you got, and so the carbon units are it for me.
So when it comes to actually, the fishing aspect of it, do you have a go-to rod that's kind of like your baby, or do you switch out depending on the lake, or what you got?
Go-to rods. We always got plenty of rods in the boat, but this one right here is obviously one of my favorites because it actually has my name on it. It's the Ish Monroe Signature Series 7'6" flipping stick. And flipping is a technique that I really like to do because it catches big fish in heavy cover. I mean, the guys here at the Classic, there'll be a couple guys out there flipping. They'll either be flipping docks or they'll be flipping wood or brush or something like that. And it's just a great way to catch them. And then I teamed it up with the Daiwa Steez reel, which is, the best reel on the market. And so, I mean, you got everything like that. Yeah, this is my baby.
Speaking of the rod and reel, Ish showed me a couple of different casting techniques.
Well, like I said, with the flipping stick and pitching rod, it's kind of an underhand action, somewhat like this, to presenting that bait into cover. But when you're fishing a spinnerbait or a crankbait, most of the time it's a overhand cast for distance, or what you would do is a sidearm cast for more accuracy and quieter presentation when you're casting a reaction bait. So there is a few different types of casts, and then with a spinning rod, it's pretty much an overhand cast or dropping straight down, but that's the sidearm cast for presenting baits accurately into the water to where those fish live.
Justin gave me a peek inside a pro angler's tackle box.
I keep right in here, and we just got all kinds of different boxes in here, but shaky head and drop shot is going to be a big player this week, and if I was fishing this tournament, shaky head would probably be one of the things that I threw the most. And of course you can see right there, most people that fish know what that is, but great way to catch them out here out on Lake Hartwell.
So is there anything that from a tackle standpoint that you would have that the average fisherman would never need to utilize?
No, I think that the thing for professional fishermen is people don't realize is we really don't have that many secrets. We just keep things really basic. Fish are fish, right? So a bass is the same bass that lives in other lakes. Now, based on bait and conditions and water clarity and all the stuff we talked about, that changes the way that they act. But we just like to keep things really simple. We're more worried about finding fish and we're using average techniques that everybody else uses, nothing special. It's more about finding them and finding the right ones to do well in a tournament.